Hey there, Bat fans. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time traveling toy collector, and today we're looking at another entry into the Batman Automobilia collection. This one is a bit different. This is from the animated Batman Beyond series and is a futuristic version of the Batmobile. And I did a bit of research on this one because, again, it was one of those things that I didn't know a lot about. But like, I know I don't know a lot about most of them because I don't have the magazines anymore, tragically. But this one I thought I'm going to just find out, because I wanted to make sure it was actually a Batmobile and not sort of like a Robin car, or because there are a few variations. But it is the Batmobile as it appears in Batman Beyond. And I would just say, when I look at some of the animation shots, I don't know how accurate it is. I've never watched Batman Beyond, so this is probably a call out to those of you who've watched Batman Beyond and more familiar with it than I am, which is anyone that's remotely familiar with it, because I'm utterly not. And maybe you could lend your opinion to the comments down below as to whether or not you think Eagle Moss managed to nail it when they put this entry into the Batman Automobilia collection. So just while I'm getting it up and sort of turning it around in its case before we get the lid off and have a proper look at this sort of more in hand. If you could possibly just drop a quick like to the video, that would be fantastic. It really, really makes my day, because it just shows that people are actually paying attention. And it does show that people are looking at what I'm putting out there, which is very, very nice and very, very reaffirming and reassuring and all of those nice words that you don't hear enough of these days. And whilst you're doing that, if you are someone who's sort of dropped in casually and doesn't currently fully subscribe to the channel, then it costs you absolutely nothing to do so. And if you would consider clicking the subscribe button, it means you would never miss a future video, and you only ever have to watch the stuff that interests you, which may be some of it, it may be all of it, but there's no obligation. You know, you just watch what you fancy, and why not check out some other stuff once you're done here. But that's the sort of official YouTube boring blurb that people seem to have to say every single time they start a video, and apologies for that. Let's have a look inside here. Let's get back to what we're really here for, instead of all that sort of self-promotional nonsense. So here, first of all, we have the lenticular backdrop, which is really interesting. Now, I don't know what the history to some of this is. That looks like I'm assuming this is the Batcave, and that's the Bat computer. Again, the lenticular element does give it a sort of three-dimensional feel, although again, I'm not sure how well it works in this. There's some very interesting stuff in the foreground. Is that the Batmite? I don't know. And this looks like a series. I'm hoping this is a series of previous bat costumes, and I can see Nightwing and Robin and some other iterations there. But I'm then wondering whether they are actually cabinet of costumes or whether they are people trapped there. I don't know. If you know the storyline, let me know down below. But yeah, I think this is the Batcave. So a nice, sensible backdrop for any Batmobile. It will always be the Batcave. And then we have this. And this, again, as I was mentioning, is a very interesting iteration of the Batmobile, the future Batmobile. Now, as ever, they are screwed in, but this doesn't feel particularly well screwed in. Look, I'm going to try not do it too much, but there's a bit of a wobble, so I'm almost a bit worried it's going to come flying off. So it's a fascinating and I would say very unique design. Now, I do wonder whether in the animated series some of these move in different directions, and that's why some of the animation elements that I've looked at don't seem to match this. That might be a reason for it. I'm going to zoom out slightly because it feels a bit in your face, doesn't it? So let's just take a look at the general line of it and the aesthetics. I love the colour. So the colour, we've got mostly a sort of core black with a bit of metallic blue and red interlaced. And then there's this sort of grey, silvery grey highlights which we've got around. I don't even know what to call some of the parts of this. What is that? Oh, that's a mark on the thing. Again, that's not particularly great. So we have this sort of delta symbol here, which is pointing forwards, which I'm assuming is a directional type of thing, but also maybe acts as a I don't, you know what, I'm just talking nonsense because I really just don't know. I'm just going to look at the damn thing and enjoy it. So we've got what is presumably the main canopy here, from which Batman drives the Batmobile. There's some interesting inlaid red detailing there. which I do recognise from some of the animation stills that I've looked at. As I mentioned, there's this sort of nice, almost metallic but not quite blue paint there with another red inlay, which we can see going under the back of what I can only describe here as rear wings, because that appears to be what they are. And it's a singular section, so it's a bit of a bulbous singular section that does sort of fold round into, or sort of flow round into these this sort of pointy bit here at the back. I'm just going to do a bit of a, I don't know if it's supposed to look like a bat. Is it supposed to look like a bat hanging upside down? I'm trying to get the angle so it gives me something to work with. That kind of looks like bat wings that are folded in, but I can't otherwise get a sense of, is it an upside down bat? Maybe it's an upside down bat. I don't know. Again, calling out to you folks who know more than I do. I do know from looking around it under here, it's very hard to get a clear shot of this, but we do have, with an inlaid red area, we do have like an underneath thruster, but most of this, because it looks like it flies, I'm assuming that these elements are sort of repulsor thrusters that keep it elevated and in the air. That would be my guess. Again, I don't know the technology behind it. So this section sort of follows round, and then it is exactly symmetrical. It's a very symmetrical piece here. It's certainly attracting an awful lot of stuff. I thought I'd let me just get there's a sort of a hair there that's managed to get itself, I don't know where that's got attached. I'll have to deal with that in a second. That's going to annoy me. Oh, can I get it with my tweezers? So many accoutrements coming out to deal with this particular exploration of this vehicle. Where is it? Is it close? Oh, there we go. Contact has been made. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Did I get it? Yes, I did. I will not be beaten by a hair, as goes the popular phrase. So again, it's very unique. It's very angular. It's very eye-catching. It's also just very peculiar. You know, it's a very peculiar design. Now, I get it's some sort of futuristic variant on the Batmobile design, but for me, it's one of the, it's both, I assume it's iconic if you're familiar with Batman Beyond, but as I'm not, I find it slightly less iconic, but that doesn't mean I don't appreciate the sort of next level design elements that are here that clearly indicate this is some sort of futuristic, it does give the impression of being extremely fast, so some sort of futuristic, speedy, mobile crime lab, or whatever it is, or pursuit vehicle, or however it is that Batman uses to chase after the villains in the future. But all in all, it does make for a really interesting model, and a really interesting capture of the vehicle. But again, it does seem to be not completely, and I know it's difficult, especially with something that's so abstract in its design, and presumably is supposed to be quite fluid, etc. But it does scream a little bit to me of being a little bit the best they could do with the design. And I could be doing them a disservice. You might think it's being more familiar, that it's a really, really solid representation of the Batman Beyond Batmobile. I don't know. You tell me in the comments down below, and I'll be super, super appreciative. Similarly, if there's a Batmobile or Bat vehicle or villainous vehicle that you know was released in the Automobilia range and I haven't done it yet, and you'd like me to, just let me know again in the comments, and I will bring it to the fore. I've done it for a couple of people now. If there's something that they particularly want to see, I'll dig it out, and I'll escalate that in my to-do list of videos for the Automobilia collection. Thank you for sticking with me. You have been the perfect companion, the perfect caped crusader to my dynamic duo. That doesn't even make sense. Apologies, just checking to see if you're listening. If you are listening, please quote dynamic duo in the comments, and it'll just prove how many people lasted this long. I've barely lasted this long, so wish me luck with the rest of the things I've got to get done. You've been fantastic, though. Thank you for sticking with me. It is awesome, and you are awesome for doing so. I've been the Triple TC, that is the time traveling toy collector, and this has been the Batmobile from Batman Beyond. as produced by Hero Collector and Eagle Moss as part of their Batman Automobilia range. It just remains for me to say that I look forward to seeing you in a future video, or of course a past one, and that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.